Hey, welcome to this podcast. On this episode, we talk about the future of the restaurant business and transitioning into a so-called post-COVID-19 area. If you want, you can skip the intro. Otherwise, let me just spend a few words introducing the topic and today's guest. As we are recording this episode, some countries are starting to relax restrictions, like here in Italy, where everything was in a complete shutdown for a long time, while other countries, like the United States, are starting to pedal back on some lifted restrictions as cases spike again. This crisis has seen many victims so far, not only by the virus itself, but also by the side effects of an economy that is on its knees. The restaurant business is one of the industries that has been hit especially hard. Even now, as countries are starting to lift restrictions, there remain many question marks. How can restaurants survive if indoor spaces are limited? Will the fear trigger a shift in consumer behavior, especially eating out? Or will the human need to socialize and spend an experience together be stronger than the fear of getting sick with the virus? To answer these and more questions, I started a conversation with Joona Valokorpi, a master chef from Finland and a winner at the Culinary Olympics 2020. Joona, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Sal Podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's my pleasure to have you on. And I've been wanting to have you on the show a long time. And I hope next time we can do it actually in person. So first of all, to give everybody who sees you and hears about you for the first time, what's your background in the restaurant business?
I've worked there for about 17 years now. Basically all the possible stations.
Right.
I've been the dishwasher, I've been the waiter, the bartender, hosted karaoke, restaurant manager, head chef, basically everything. But for the past 7 years, I think, I've been mostly in the kitchen.
And so what's the situation like in Finland? I remember we talked briefly at the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak.
Yeah.
And things were quite novel, quite new at the time. So things shut down there as well. What's the situation? What was the first reaction in Finland?
Well, I think it was the same everywhere around the world. Everybody bought toilet paper.
Right.
And panicked. All the canned tuna and toilet paper were gone.
Yeah, I wonder what's that about. I mean,
I don't know.
There hasn't been a shortage anywhere. I don't think any country reported a shortage in toilet paper.
Yeah, I don't know. But that was the first reaction.
Right.
Then as the weeks went by, people got maybe more used to it, but still a little bit more scared, but not as panicked. And in some point, they actually closed down the capital area. The borders were in the country as well.
Right. Like you could leave your house. There was not a complete lockdown.
No.
As in Italy.
Not a complete lockdown, no. You could go outside, yes, but basically it was only the supermarkets and pharmacies that were open.
And I imagine in Finland, as everywhere else, most businesses had to shut down, especially the restaurants. Yeah. And so what does the scene now look like, now that things are starting to open up again? It's like our companies closing? Or
Yes, but not that much. The government did do something to help us out, but maybe it was little bit too little, too late. They gave money to the restaurants to keep on rolling and working, but not to all. And for some, it was a little bit too late. It's a good thing that it happened because it saved few of them.
How do people go to restaurants now? So things, I suppose, are like here are slowly opening up again. Yeah. Was there like a period of takeaway?
Yeah.
Like here,
that was really small. It was just few restaurants did it. Some did it bigger than the others. Some delivered to home with their own cars. The chefs took the food, delivered it to homes. You order today, you get it tomorrow. Yeah, pre-order the delivery. Some stayed open for just a takeaway. Some lunch places, but if you normally get 500 lunch customers, now you got maybe 70 or 100. So you could keep the one chef and one waiter at the work. Everybody else was laid off. And of course, the professional unions are backing up. If you are a member of a restaurant union, You get the paycheck from there. It's like 70% of your normal wage.
Okay.
But of course, not all of us were in the union.
Okay.
Like I wasn't. Because what's going to happen that the chef doesn't have work? A pandemic wasn't on my list.
On you. Right. I think it was on nobody's radar.
For a long time, we had a problem in Finland. We didn't have enough cooks and chefs and waiters. And that was a big problem here, to find a good quality employee. Maybe people are too lazy. They think it's too hard work. They want to do something easier. The IT business is booming here. Okay. Everybody's doing something with the computers. That's where the money is. And the restaurant business, you don't get paid that much. You have to love the work to do it. You don't do it for the money. You do it for the love of the business.
You have to get up quite early, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I started working this week again, 1st of June. We opened up a restaurant. I'm not working at my regular restaurant because I've been laid off there. We're closed still.
Okay.
But I'm working in another restaurant now for the summer, for the next 3 months. And I counted I have close to 50 hours or 60 hours this week, and I still have tomorrow. Oh. So, but the reopening, it takes time.
And so how do you maintain safety measures in such a narrow space as a kitchen?
To be honest, you can't.
Right.
You can't.
Are there like mandatory safety measures like masks? No?
Not here. The masks are not mandatory. Mm-hmm. You need to have it. You can use it if you want it, but it's not like said that you have to use it.
Right.
Even in the public transportation or anywhere. It's just suggested that you use it, but they don't demand it. And for customer safety, of course, restaurants are always high level of hygiene and everything. Mm-hmm. We wash our hands all the time, and we don't come to work if we are sick. Mm-hmm. Not even without the pandemic.
Are the volumes lower than before?
Of course they are. Of course they are. It's a bit too early to say where it's going. Mm-hmm. Because it's the first week that the restaurants are actually open in Finland. Since, I don't know, March.
Right.
It was somewhere mid-March that everything went closed, shut down. Only few stayed on, did the takeaway food, but that was so little.
What happens very often, I think people are psychologically scared eventually, or they think twice before going to eat out.
I think most of the Finns are now fed up of the staying home part. I think it's everywhere because it's so hard psychologically. You stay inside 4 walls for 2 or 3 months. You need human contact. You don't need to hug everybody, but you need to speak with somebody. You need to actually be with them in the same space. Of course, everybody's still a bit scared, but what do you get? You're gonna open the restaurants. You can open the terraces, the big patios.
Right.
Indoors, it's regulated that if the restaurant opens, it can have only half of the normal seating capacity that it usually had. If you had 2 chairs in the restaurant normally, now you can have 35 inside. So you can maintain the safe distance with other customers. But on the outdoors, there's no limit. And everybody's building bigger and bigger patios. And you put there, I don't know, 100 or 200 Finns, give them a few beers. There's no safe distance anymore.
Okay, right. And are they extending also onto public soil when they build outsides?
That's really district here. You have to have a permit for everything.
Okay, all right.
But of course, they're giving it now easily because they want the businesses to rise up again and,
of course,
the money to get rolling and moving.
And speaking of money, like what are the economical implications? I don't know what's the situation in Finland, but here a lot of people lost their jobs. And so people are going to think twice, I suppose, where they're going to spend their money, if they're going to eat out or if they just buy things and cook at home. In Italy, cooking at home is way cheaper than buying food in a restaurant. It's similar there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's most of the people waited so long to get somewhere out of the house. Now they have restaurants where they go. They have something to do other than going to the supermarket and coming back home. So for the beginning, of course, they all got to go there little by little.
For the experience.
Yeah, but after the first wave goes by, I think it's going to get slower again.
So are you using any innovative technologies now, or do you see anything happening in the restaurant industry, such as apps for booking seats or any other innovations in the field?
We had those earlier already, and the same are still working. But I think the pre-ordering is still valid, and the takeaway. Because the people don't want to come to the restaurant because they're scared. Some of them.
Yes.
But they still want to have the experience and get the quality good food.
Right.
So pre-order. And they just come to pick it up and eat it at home. Not just for McDonald's or some pizzeria, but also for the fine dining restaurants and diner restaurants.
Do you see a difference in, like, is it starting to be limited more and more to people who have money? Or do you still see everybody basically across the board going to enjoy food outside?
The first week, there's still everybody there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to have the one experience at least.
Right.
The following weeks will show how it will turn up.
And do you see any other innovations that restaurants are using to try to get people to come back?
Social media marketing is getting bigger and bigger. Facebook, Instagram, earlier already, but now it's coming bigger and bigger because all the time, 3 months that everything was closed.
Mm-hmm.
All the restaurants still kept on their Instagram pages, kept posting their recipes that you can cook this at home. This is made by our chef. This is made, our pastry chef made this recipe. You can cook it. It's easy. Post a nice picture of the dish or chef or whatever. You post there an actual recipe and an easier recipe that everybody can actually make it and have the same experience at home or the same.
Right.
Still.
So to wrap this up, what is your outlook on the future of restaurants in Finland and generally? Do you think that we will return to the old ways? Do you think that restaurants will have to invent something completely different going forward in case the situation will stay like this? As you said, seats are halved. Some people might still psychologically consider twice going to the restaurant. Some people might not be able to afford it anymore. So do you think they will have to innovate? And if so, do you have any idea what that could look like?
I think most of it will go back almost the same that it was. And that would be sad if it goes there too much. Because I think every obstacle that we have to climb over will teach us something. And from this, we need to learn and use the new ideas and the ways of working that we have been doing now to maintain the customers and the new ways of serving them for the home deliveries and takeaways from the high-end restaurants.
All right, Joona, thank you very much.